Finding inspiration isn't very hard if you're open to trying new things. This is exactly what this tutorial is about. Recently, I was really inspired to paint a full moon and make it as realistic as I could, yet keeping with my own unique style. Today, I'm going to walk you through my process of first drawing and then painting a semi-realistic full moon. Before I begin, here's a list of all the supplies I used today. So the first step that I did was cut an 8" by 8" square out of my watercolor paper. Then with a ruler, I measured the center of my square and drew a circle using my stencil. After I had my circle drawn, I added 7 craters around my moon. When drawing these, I like to think of myself drawing odd-shaped U's hugging the surface of the moon. Here's a quick tip for you. Odd numbers, for some reason, are very pleasing to the eye. Most photos and artwork are composed of some items that are in 3s, 5s, and 7s, so that's just something to keep in mind. Moving on to our next step, I went ahead and drew several full circles, half circles, as well as some ovals and odd round shapes scattered along the surface of my moon. These will add a touch of texture for our craters. Afterward, I added some jagged lines which look kind of similar to our continents on Earth. These lines will give the impression of mountain ranges later when we shade them. I also added 2 small circles near the bottom left and upper left corner. These will be large impact white areas on our moon. From those tiny circles, then draw curved lines bursting forth from them. Finally, ink your moon with Indian ink pens, which won't smudge when you paint over them later. After my ink is dried, let's say about 10 minutes or so, it's time to paint. Using a round brush, I painted a clear, wet layer of water over the sections where my shadows and midtones would be located. I did not place water where I wanted my highlights. I then took a watered-down black paint and lightly touched the paper with my brush. Since the paper is wet and the paint is wet, it created a cool blooming effect. I then continued to dab this paint anywhere there would be a shadow, such as the left side of the moon, craters, or edges of the mountain ridges. I continued to add darker amounts of color as the paper slowly dried, making my shadows slowly become darker. Once I liked what I saw, I set the painting aside to dry. After my painting had dried, I noticed my craters and the side of my moon weren't as dark as I really wanted. So once again, I added darker shadows to my craters and valleys to make them stand out. Then using acrylic white paint, I added highlights with a liner brush. I highlighted the edges of craters and mountain ridges. Then with that same brush, I added 2 large white craters that explode out. Those are those impact areas. Afterward, with a dry brush, I added a bit more texture by just dabbing some white over the moon, and this was totally up to me. Once again, I set the painting aside once I felt like it was finished. So last step, I promise. Mixing the brown glaze, I lightly painted over the darker craters and some of the highlighted regions. This will add greater depth and warmth to your painting. And that's it! A semi-realistic full moon painted with watercolors. So I have a question for you guys. What inspires you to paint? For me this week, it was the full moon, as you can see. If you'd like to learn how to do the splatter effect that I did in this painting, you can click on this video over here and it will take you immediately to that tutorial. Also, I want to ask you guys, what else would you like me to teach on this channel? I've done flowers, and also some of you guys have said do like techniques, so that's why I did the splatter technique this week with the moon. So just give me some ideas, shoot me some ideas in the comment section. Also, one more thing, if you want to follow this little one over here and follow me during the week on Facebook, we are also posting stuff daily, and I'll be posting stuff about her and about me, and also little paintings that I've been doing. I've been currently doing an animal study, and I have been asking my Facebook fans, what type of animals would you guys like me to paint, and then painting them. So if you go on over there and like that page and comment over there what kind of animals you would like me to paint, you might see your animal over there. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you next time.